The halls of the imperial spire had never felt so quiet, thick with whispers, heavy with fear not of an army, but of a single name echoing through steel corridors and common huts. Scrappy had been thrown away. Now they painted his face on palace walls. When the Emperor summoned the human again, it wasn't with ceremony. It was rage stitched into control. Yunjay, a Terran mechanic, who never bowed, entered the private war chamber with oil still drying on his shirt, and his usual scowl across his face. Scrap followed beside him, slow, limping slightly, his upgraded leg brace glowing with a faint veteran blue pulse. His scars were visible now, not hidden symbols of pain, loyalty, survival. The Emperor didn't speak at first. His golden armor cast long shadows, and the war banners behind him were deathly. Still, he is disrupting everything, the Emperor finally said. Yunjay didn't blink. You mean the mutt who saved your palace and half your guards? The Emperor's voice dropped. Do you understand what happens when symbols grow teeth? I do, Yunjay said. They protect things you can't. Silence again. I could have him killed, the Emperor murmured. Scrap took one step forward. He didn't growl. He simply looked up with one blue eye and one green, and the Emperor paused. His breath caught not from fear but from something worse. Doubt that it was the first time in years. He didn't feel like the highest creature in the room. Later that week, when the Emperor announced the death of Scrap's title, calling it a temporary symbol and no longer required, the people rioted, not with fire or weapons, but with silence. Entire workforces dropped their tools, and sat down. Children laid flowers on the palace gates. One old miner whispered, "Take our mutt, take our breath." We still remember, and they did. Even when palace broadcasts tried to erase the footage, rebel coders etched it into transport ship nav systems. It became unerasable, a living memory coded into steel. But then came the test no one saw coming. A veteran war cruiser sent a distress call from the outer moons. A plague, born from corrupted tech, had swept its lower decks. No medical droids worked. No noble house dared approach. It was a death sentence. Unless someone went inside. The council scoffed. We can't risk our soldiers. Yunjay stood up. Send me. He turned to Scrap, now healed enough to walk fully upright, even if his fur had never grown back the same. The dog looked at him, then nodded once. They boarded the cruiser alone. Inside, the infected tech screamed. Energy pulses fried sensors. Mutated bots attacked anything that moved. Yunjay dodged blasts, rerouted wires, and fought like hell through collapsing tunnels. But it was Scrap charging into smoke, dragging survivors from sealed compartments, shielding a weeping nurse under his brace that turned the tide. They reached the ship's AI core. It was flickering with corruption, swarming like black snow. Reed prepared a detonation charge, but it failed. Then Scrap barked just once and threw himself into the core. It recognized his body signature. Veteran-born, human-bonded, technically imperial. The infection paused, confused, long enough for Yunjay to finish the override and blast the core offline. The cruiser lived. Scrap didn't move. Yunjay held his body in his arms as systems came back to life. You stupid, perfect mutt, he whispered. I told you. No dying. Scrap's pulse was faint, but it was there when the cruiser returned. The galaxy wasn't ready. People lined spaceports. Mechanics, cooks, soldiers, children, even nobles gathered to see not the Emperor, not the Council, but the dog who had given his life to save strangers. He hadn't died. He had evolved. Medical bots rebuilt. His brace with ship-grade alloy. His ribcage had new support nodes, but his eyes remained the same. Soft, loyal, human. When he limped out beside Yunjay, millions watching through every screen, across every star sector, stood up. Some cried, some saluted, most just whispered. He came back. The Emperor called. For Yunjay one final time, name your reward. Yunjay pointed at Scrap. I already have it, and if I demand his service, I'll take him and walk, Yunjay said. And every engineer, every cook, every servant, every outpost soldier will follow. You know that. The Emperor nodded slowly, then turned to Scrap. Kneel, he commanded. Scrap didn't move. Instead, he walked forward, calm, scarred. Proud and sat. Not to obey. To decide. The court was silent. No one spoke. Finally, the Emperor bowed his head, not to concede power, but to admit a truth. They had built a palace on purity. Scrap had rebuilt it on presence. They gave him a new title that night. Not Sentinel, not Soldier. They called him Torch because He had lit something in the dark no one else could. And Yun-jae, still in his jumpsuit, holding a broken wrench and a ration bar, whispered to him in the forge room where it all began, "You were never ugly. They were just blind." Scrap curled up beside him, the glow of the forge dancing on his metal brace. He was once thrown away. Now, he lit the path forward.